Hey, do you play in bands? I did for the longest time. And I wish that I knew that DistroKid was a thing. I don't even think it existed back then. DistroKid makes music distribution fun and easy with unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of your royalties and earnings. 1 million plus artists rely on DistroKid to get their music on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, Instagram, and all the major streaming services. When you get DistroKid, you can see a DistroKid bank and withdraw your earnings. You get notified when you've earned royalties, and you can withdraw via the app. And you can even check your streaming stats on Spotify and Apple. Get 30% off your first year on DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. 30% off for your first year. That's not bad. We know it's a tough world out there. Why don't you make it easier for yourself? And to get 30% off that free year as an artist, where you get 100% of your royalties and earnings, go to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. All right, stay with me. I'll be right back after this.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Hello, you're listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs with me, Giles Bidder. It's where we hear from bands and musicians about all the work that goes in behind the making of the record. On today's episode, we have the wonderful Katy J Pearson about to release her new album someday now on Friday. This is a classic album in the making. I've listened to it a bunch of times ahead of release, lucky like that. And I'm still getting my head around some of the melodies and the grooves. I can't wait to listen to it more. I'm looking forward to seeing her live at the Coco in London on 5th of February. A UK tour going on around then, so you can check dates for that. I just love this. Katy's got a really recognisable voice. She references Tears for Fears, maybe a bit of Fleetwood Mac. There is really something special here. So I was really glad to speak with her on today's episode. If you enjoy this chat, make sure you click subscribe. We put out 2 episodes every week with exciting, interesting artists, and we'd love to have you along. All right, after the jump, we've got Katy J Pearson here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. 101 Part-Time Jobs. I love the new record. Long Range Driver is the immediate hit for me. I've listened to it 2 or 3 times, the album through.
Thank you. Do you know what? I love Long Range Driver. It's like it feels like such a mixture of like Sheryl Crow, a bit maybe Crosby, Stills and Nash maybe, but it's one that like it has such a nice journey to it. And like when it gets into the outro with that like or starts, I don't know, it's a proper like road trip song, I think.
And it breathes.
Yeah.
Does it take a while to let a song breathe? Because if you write a song at home, and maybe you rehearse it with the band, and with this one, you knew the band you wanted to do it with, you know where you wanted to go, Rockfield, for it. Have you still got to like sort of manually input time where you're like, okay, this is going to be a period of months that I just don't think so much about it and just let it breathe, let it percolate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm like big for like periods of not writing anything.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then and like writing things and then not thinking about it for a bit, and then when you go into to start pre-production and maybe rehearsing with your band, then go back to it. So I think like otherwise you can really over listen to things in the mixing process as well. And like I've gone batshit before and like lost a plot, and everyone's like, I told you not to listen to it, and I'm like, oh, I should have listened to that many times. But yeah, I feel like it's funny. Even and also with Long Range Driver, like it started out like such a different song. It was like proper like strings. I just did like a demo in this writing room, and it was just like strings, and it kind of sounded a bit like Lana Del Rey-ish. And then I went in with Bullion, and then I like changed onto a guitar, and suddenly I was like, oh, okay. I like the lyrics of that one as well. It's just quite fun.
Yeah, what are your favorite lyrics on the record? Which lyrics are you most proud of?
I really like Save Me because I like the fact that like it's got a proper like groove to it, and it's like quite happy, but the lyrics are like basically talking about being with someone that's like properly trauma dumping on you. And I really like I'm laying awake, I'm saving the space for when you drop that bottle of grief. And then when it goes into the guy going save me, because it's like so many of my friends and me end up in these like situations with these men that haven't gone to therapy, and you become their therapist. And so that song's kind of a real like ode to that, really, which
Yeah.
always makes me laugh. And I also like there's the beginning verse which goes, don't see any harm in this, living in habitual bliss, which I really like those two lyrics. That bit feels more like it's so easy in the beginning of like liking someone to be like, everything is so amazing. Oh my God, like, wow, literally no flaws. And then you're like, oh fuck, hang on.
How have you been like sort of speaking with partners and even family and friends about playing music? Because I guess there's something about being British, and like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there's something that if you're a young musician, then there aren't heaps of people who are going to be very supportive. So maybe you start off from this place of doubt where people are like, oh, you're never going to make it, or there's just not much support in education or culturally, really.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I think I'm really lucky. My family are like so supportive, and anyone that like I've been with like has also been like, that's so cool, go
Yeah.
for it. But like, you know, I think some people are like, how do you do this? Like, how have you stuck at this for so long? And I'm like, well, it's kind of like sounds really dramatic, but it's kind of thing is like I literally like have to write songs. Like it sounds. I hope that doesn't sound pretentious, but it's like
No.
it's just something that I have to do. I need to get it out of my system, and it's quite handy that it does, and it does exist for that. Imagine if
Totally.
it didn't, and you're like writing these things, and you're like, imagine if songs didn't exist, and it was like, oh, I'm writing all these things, and I don't know where to put them.
Yeah.
But they're like, we have a place for you, the unstable music industry.
Because you've been writing songs since you were younger, right?
Yeah, since I was really young. I mean, like the kind of proper songs started hitting at like 13, 14. I started writing proper full songs, but it's been a long time now.
Probably so more than half your life, maybe.
Yeah.
Coming up to.
So I feel like maybe it's time to like, yeah, maybe at some point I should like change careers for a bit and then come back into it. But no, it's not going to happen. It's weird how you can be doing it for this amount of time, and you know, but these things do take time, and I think it's like having the resilience to carry on and to like realize these things, and you know, even realizing that the way that I communicate my stories sometimes, actually, Long Range Driver, like before it was recorded, I was like singing it in rehearsals, and Hugh, who's playing bass, went, "Why are you saying that you're the piece of gum stuck to that guy's shoe?" He's like, that is so like being rude to yourself, because obviously that's not the case. Like, you're a good person. He's like, obviously this person's been bad to you, so they should be the gum on your shoe. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. I was like, I can't believe I'm being so mean to myself, even in a musical way. It's like, have some respect for yourself.
Yeah, and that's like a constant journey, right? Something to look at, something to like pay attention to.
It's interesting to realize, and even I was I had a moment earlier when I was talking about a song, and I realized that with my next single, Maybe, it used to say like, maybe I need your love to show me that I'm good enough. And the same thing, my friend flagged and went, why are you saying that? Like, why are you saying you don't need their love to make you feel good enough? You're amazing. Like, you should be saying that you don't need it. And then as soon as we changed that lyric, we then had a breakthrough sonically and production wise, because the whole song had a completely different meaning, because before we're playing it so mournfully, and as soon as it was like a more empowering thing, the song was like Tears for Fears, and like boom, and just like
It's beautiful. Do you spend much time thinking about that? How like writing songs has allowed you to sort of be out there with yourself and with your heart, and be able to like open yourself up to life.
Yeah. I think I would be like literally so much. I mean, I obviously like sometimes I do get low and depressed, but I think I'd be so much more severely depressed if I didn't write songs. I think it's like, you know, it's a real like good way of like dealing with your thoughts, and also getting trauma out, getting emotions out. I think like it's always been my like outlet, and I think that's why like I'm overall like a pretty much happy person.
It must be nice singing on other people's records as well, like Orlando Weeks and Yada. I mean, you've sung with some really great bands and groups.
Oh yeah, oh it's so fun. And also like with Orlando, like I was such a big fan anyway, so like the fact that he like wanted my voice on the songs, I was like absolutely gassed about. And like, yeah, it's just, I think for me, like collaborating is so essential. I think I've learned so much about the craft of things, and also just, I think having other people that you collaborate with, I just think it gives you a sense of belonging and family. And, you know, I was actually saying to someone earlier, you know, when I was first signed, I was like 19 and signed to a major label, and I was so lonely. I was so isolated from the scene because I was like always in writing rooms and, you know, kind of like kept away. Because I think in a way, if I'd made connections, I would have realized actually the quite awful situation I was in. So like to be now at a point where I have some amazing friends and peers that I absolutely adore, and that I get to kind of connect with all the time, and we're really good friends, but also they're really talented. It's just like, it's such a treat. It's such a treat. It's such a treat.
And you're not alone.
No.
And no. Imagine it can be lonely sometimes when it's you're calling the shots, you're the boss, it's your name on the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of my really best friends, my friend Nuha Ruby Ra, who you might have heard of, and my other really good friend Sarah, who's in Dogs for Romeos, and like, you know, having like these wonderful women that are like making music, and you can just like call on them when you're feeling a bit rubbish and be like, I'm really stressed about this thing, and they're like, oh my god, babes, get it, you know.
Yeah. The last time we saw you was at Village Underground in London.
Yes.
Big old venue.
That was gorgeous. That was one of my favorite shows, I think. It was so special, wasn't it? I really felt like so much love, and it was just a really big moment for my career, kind of realizing that I could fill a room like that and how happy people were. It was just wonderful.
Yeah. What's the next one? I guess that's the way it works, right? It's like, okay, did that. What's next?
So it's Coco.
Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Suits you even better than Village Underground, because it's because of the I don't know what kind of architecture you'd call it inside of there.
It's gorgeous in there. I went and saw Eamon Junes. He played there recently, and I'd never been there. Actually, it was the day before, because I moved back to Bristol like 4 weeks ago, but it was the day before I moved back to Bristol, so I went and saw Eamon Junes at Coco, sussed out the venue, and then the next day I went off in my friend's van with all my belongings.
That's it.
Unfortunately, my brother took my Fender Mustang and my violin on the coach, and then he left them on the coach, so they've gone missing.
No. So what's the latest?
It's basically gone. I think someone stolen them both.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I was like, literally, I've never been so angry in my life, but now I feel like, as I said before, I'm radically accepting the situation. There's nothing I can do, and whoever has my belongings, I hope it brings them joy, and maybe they will be the next big thing, and I've given them a guitar to write their song on. That's
a very nice way to look at it.
But it is fucking annoying. But you know what? It's fine, whatever.
Do you see those moments of like moving back, like packing up the van? Because the imagery of that stuff, the imagery of moving town is quite like strong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think that you put much like emotional weight on those kinds of things?
Yeah, definitely. I think actually, to be fair, when I moved from Bristol to London, I was like, oh my God, because I was only in London for like 10 months. I didn't even last a year. But like, I think when I left Bristol, I was like, oh my God. But when I left London, actually, to be fair, when I left London, I was just a bit confused, because I was like, I said to everyone I was staying here for like 5 years. And then everyone was like, you're back early. I think I didn't have the patience to like stick it out. And also I didn't have the financial money to stay. I was like, especially when I was like trying to like find random like ad hoc flexible work and then do music, and I was like, this is actually like not gonna work. I was like, this is insane. But now I'm back in Bristol, and I'm working like a few days a week at a really lovely coffee shop called Radical Roasters, which is run by a lovely lady called Kat from Ireland. And I don't know, because there's some points where like things are going well with touring where like I can come back with a bit of money, but it's so up and down where like it's that time again. Let's go get a job, another job again.
Oh, you seem like you take that with a spring in your step, though. Like working in a
Yeah.
coffee shop can be. I mean, it's all about the people you work with.
I
right?
really don't mind it. Like as long as it's like a nice vibe. Like I was working in a cafe in London, and like the person that hired me was really nice, but like it was just too much. It was just quite like a snooty area, and I was like, and then I also found that like I was just like in an epicenter of loads of people in music I knew, and they were like, why are you working here? I was like, because I need to work here. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not a millionaire. Also, like, I really like working at this new place in Bristol. Like, everyone that works there is so nice. And I used to live around the corner from this coffee shop anyway. It's just great. And also, I think it's good to do something other than music. It keeps you grounded. I don't put too much pressure on myself that I'm this like, it's not the 70s anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Will you write after work, do you find?
No, I'm quite strange. Well, not strange. I'm not, it might sound lazy, but I'm someone that like, I think I'm just get distracted really easily. So I find that like I have to like regiment time and like, I have to book in somewhere to go write. I just will like go in my room and then like play on my guitar for a minute and then, I can't find this like lipstick. And then I'll be like suddenly cleaning my room and hoovering and then I wouldn't have written a song. So I have to like have someone in the studio with me who's like, I'm paying a bit of money for the day. And so like they're relying on me. So I have to go. And it's not because I don't love writing songs. I think I'm just a bit absolutely just scatty as hell.
But lyrics must come all over the place.
Yeah, I'm mainly someone that the chords will come first, but I'll be like playing and then I'll start like singing the lyrics and melody at the same time over the chords, and then I have to record it. I don't really have like loads of songbooks full of lyrics. It's like sometimes I have to like actually in the past I've like been like written out song lyrics after the song's written and been like, hey guys, here are my song lyrics that I've written out and in beautiful handwriting, which is just like absolute bullshit. But you know, you got to like keep the mystery, not the mystery. You got to keep it looking like.
I mean, that is a funny thing. We grew up like with bands. We didn't get to see everything about them, so there was always a sense of mystery.
Yeah.
And now that kind of like that, how much mystery is the artist's choice.
Absolutely, like people like Aldous Harding, like and Mitski, I think are like. And Caleb Bond are just doing it right. I'm like, that's the way I want to do it. I just think it's so important to have that boundary because I think you should know everything. Like, I don't like, you know, I love Kate Bush. I don't know everything about her. Like, you know, I'm like, wow, Kate Bush. Like, I don't know. I think it's really important to keep that boundary, also to protect yourself because you don't want everyone knowing everything. But I think it's like, you got to be cautious. And I think the younger generation that are coming in, with social media being such a pressure and like having to kind of really be like, this is what I'm doing. Hello. I would literally go insane. I'd lose my marbles.
You said it, but you got to protect yourself. I don't know. I feel like if you went into a party and then you started like just saying everything that was running through your brain, you might just like run out of steam and then like have to leave the party early. That's probably a bad analogy, but
no, that's actually, I get what you mean though. No, I'm vibing with that.
Because you give too much away.
Yeah.
And sometimes that ends up you feeling depleted.
Yeah, exactly. For me, especially like I like, you know, doing my music, singing on stage, and then, you know, I go off and make my albums and share nice content of things I've been doing and songs. But like, I'm not going to be like, hey, here's what I did today. I woke up and, you know.
Hey, good to chat, Katy. Your music is excellent. Love hearing these stories because it's real, right? I guess. I mean, we're talking about keeping the mystery, you know, mystical, but these stories are very much real life. And
that's the thing. I think it's like, I think the mystery is important, but I also think being just honest about who you are and like, just because you write songs doesn't mean you're like some kind of god. No one should be put on a pedestal for like, I don't know. Obviously, I put loads of people on pedestals for it. I'm like, oh my god, like. You know, we're all united in the same things. And it's like, I want people to maybe are struggling to be like, oh, she was struggling and I really like her music and she seems like she had this going on and I do as well. So that means I'm not alone. I think it's like having that connection to someone and that vulnerability is like so essential.
So that was Katy J Pearson here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Someday Now is coming out this Friday on Heavenly Recordings. I really recommend you pre-save that and order it if you can. It's really a wonderful record. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back tomorrow with an episode with Blossoms from Stockport, about to release their new album, Gary, and later on in the week from Bristol's Lice.
101 Part-Time Jobs is hosted by Giles Bidder and produced by me, Olivia Swash. This has been a Mighty Moon Media production.